you know, testosterone-driven
that
men,
seminar
walking in
example
and
you
just
just
owning
gave.
the world. I think that currently people want to know more, see more.
Yes, I spoke to a lot of young women. Yes, I understood the unique challenges they face in today's society. And as a human being, I felt empathy that, they're facing that sometimes unfairly.
Well, earlier we were Zakhmi Aurats and now we're Ziddi girls. So that's a journey. I have to be honest, when I saw Zakhmi Aurat, I was terrified that I was expected to grow up to be that. Khoon Bhari Mang. I was just like, this is what I'm expected to be when I grow up.
Hello everyone, I am Ronal. I'm from Bollywood Hangama.
Hi,
Hi.
Manal.
Hi. So speaking of the title, it's called Ziddi. Me being a feminist, I am a Ziddi girl in my life. So do you think women have to be Ziddi to get what they want in real life, like in today's time?
I think everybody has to be
I
stubborn.
think everyone has to
I
be
think a
Ziddi
baby
to
has to
get
be
anything.
stubborn if it wants its mother's milk. I think everybody does. It's a universal thing.
And especially women, you're right.
Yes.
Women have to be Ziddi.
Ziddier. Yeah,
Ziddier.
Do you think women are getting what they want by being Ziddi? Is it the time changing in today's time?
No, this is an age-old thing that, as somebody was saying in another time, that what you gain from today, like you as a young person, it's because of generations of women having been Ziddi and fought for certain rights that you may take for granted in the present, right? So that is what is important, that everybody has to continue to be Ziddi and fight for that Zid. Generations and generations, then only society will move forward and shackles will finally be broken for women for always.
I absolutely agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I came on board really feeling very much in sync with the creators, with my co-directors, my co-writer. And I believe that. I mean, I think one of the great things for me in this collaboration is that I only came in and was always treated as an equal, and just as much. I know that as a human being, you have to have a certain grit, a certain spirit to keep moving forward and improve yourself and grow. So yes, I feel it applies across the board. Yes, I spoke to a lot of young women. Yes, I understood the unique challenges they face in today's society. And as a human being, I felt empathy that, they're facing that sometimes unfairly. And I felt very inspired by the spirit with which they approach it, despite having an onslaught that they face. So I think that this show, at the end of it, came out of the impetus to address this via story.
I just want to say one thing, I think something very interesting that we share, and this has happened to me the second time of doing something with Rongita Ishita, that patriarchy that we hate. Patriarchy is an ideology and it is not according to gender. So a previous piece I did with them, Modern Love Mumbai, Ratrani, utterly the most feminist piece I've done till this. And that was written by a male writer, Nilesh Maniyar. And here the first person that Rongita Ishita chose was a very, very progressive man, Vasant Nath, the most feminist person that we know as women, right? And so it's very important to understand that patriarchy is an ideology, is systemic oppression. It is not based on gender. Because you can have women who will continue to perpetuate patriarchy. And you'll have men who will be right there, shoulder to shoulder with you, like Nilesh, like Vasant, breaking that and changing the image of women.
So the emotion of the series is very feminine, and most of the females are present in the show. So is this show only would be relevant to the women, or it would be more exciting and related to men as well when they watch the show?
I'll just tell you by the response. See, the show's been out now 3 days. Young men and old men and people's fathers and people's uncles and cousins and boyfriends and sons, everything are just loving the show. Nilesh, who I referred to, said that he told all his male cousins that, you need to understand and experience this. He said that everybody who's watched Three Idiots and can understand how male bonding and hostel life, all those men should watch this because it'll be an eye-opener and entertaining and enjoyable and invigorating for them. That is the direct response. And I think all the makers feel that this is something that is to all young people. And what surprised us is that it's actually to even people in their late 80s are loving it. That it's across generation and age and certainly gender.
Definitely.
I wanted to ask Rongita that you did 4 more shorts please as well. So is it your thing that women-centric shows should be out more often, and how OTT as a platform impact on the shows kind of?
You know, I think like men make shows about heroes. You know, I'm surrounded by women and I find my inspiration in women. So my content is only going to reflect that. So I don't think I set out to make women's stories, but the accident has been actually a very cherishable, you know, journey. Because I don't think there are enough people out there telling authentic women's stories. And we try our best to do that. And the lens is never gender driven. The story is about women, but we have men writing them as well. So I really feel that when it comes to content about women, there are enough people willing to watch it and ready to watch it because there's a healthy amount of curiosity. You've seen so much about men, you know, testosterone-driven men, you know,
Femina
walking in
example
and
you
just
just
owning
gave.
the world. I think that currently people want to know more, see more, and the female narrative is still fresh enough. If you're not sticking it and, you know, like bubble wrapping it in just sloganeering, you know, so if you make an authentic piece, all genders will watch it, and men are very curious about women. You know, the saying, what women wants doesn't just come from nowhere. Everybody knows that there is healthy curiosity, and you make a show about it, people are going to come in. And make a good show about it, people will come in and watch.
And also particularly, I think for this show, for Ziddi Girls, because you know, it is kind of like your age group characters, a lot of them. It is a coming of age show at the heart of it. And that coming of age is so relatable, like
Across genders.
across gender, across age, because it has a lot of nostalgia. Who does not like to go back to their college days? You know, and if you can relate to that narrative as a 60-year-old, as an 80-year-old, like Shonali was saying, or as somebody's father or as somebody's brother, and you can watch a piece and say, oh, I see some bit of myself or my college days in this, or some part of my experience, whether it was friendship or whether it was coming of age of identity, or if it's your personal politics, whatever it may be, then you know that you made a piece which can resonate across the wide spectrum of audience, and not just young adults or not just women, not just men, but everybody who's ever been to college.
I just want to say one thing that's really interesting, that, and it's nothing to do with you, it's to do with our society. Now, no questioner, nobody in conversation, when Three Idiots came out, or Rang De Basanti, or there must be others, Chichore, right? Nobody says that, okay, so what would draw women to, you know, watch this, right? It's assumed that it's for everybody, right? When it's about male hostel life, it is assumed it's for the entire Indian audience. The minute it's just about women's hostel, it's assumed that, oh, this is something only specific to women, only women will be interested. There's nothing to do with you. I'm just saying, don't you think that's interesting? Even we fall into that, right? Because you feel like you have to defend that, why did you do women, and it should be interesting to everybody. Like you're constantly having to say that. But does it ever happen with Three Idiots or any of these things, right?
But also look at their titles, Idiots, Chichore. You know, every time you make a piece about young men growing up, I mean, that you're labeling them with that, so they're not, you know, at a loss of labels in that sense, you know. But, you know, the thing is that you're 21, and it's a beautiful age to be. When you get to 41, your college life is something that you're going to want to relive, you know. So the show actually talks to people at your age and to people at my age.
And
That's
at my
the
age,
beauty
hello,
of
I'm
it.
60
And
also.
also older.
Yeah. And
So I think that really is the beauty of it.
If I may add something, so, you know, just this conversation just sparked one memory in me, and, you know, the fact that we're having people across age and gender respond to the show now 3 days into the show's release. You know, I have a memory that when in my third year, when I knew that in a few months I'll be leaving college, I went around the college campus at night and I hugged pillars. I hugged trees, I hugged pillars. Now, I went to a very, very beautiful campus, a great school. I went to a really, really lovely postgraduate institution. But this only happened to me in my undergraduate, and it was because of course, something to do with the place, but also to do with the time. I was so grateful for having come of age over here that I literally hugged this place, you know. And when I encountered this story, I felt that same, I said, all of these people who are talking to me about their various colleges have been developing this bond with the place. There's something special. And I think that, you know, one thing it's led us to think is that why do we always want to come back to that place? We want to come back to our beginning of who we are. That's where we've stopped being somebody in somebody's shadow, in our parents' shadow, and actually stepping out of the egg. And we want to come back to that because when we are 40 and beyond, we start forgetting. We lose a contact with it. And when we're
Life
given the
happens to
contact,
you.
yes. And that contact is so important because that's where it started. And it tells you what you need to be happy.
Do you think how women are portrayed in today's films and before, is it changing, and how is it changing?
Well, earlier we were Zakhmi Aurats and now we're Ziddi girls. So that's a journey. That's a journey. I have to be honest, when I saw Zakhmi Aurat, I was terrified that I was expected to grow up to be that. Yeah, Dimple. Yeah, Dimple. There was that other one also, no, where Rekha was the heroine. Sorry, I'm taking
Khoon
names
Bhari
out.
Maang.
Khoon Bhari Maang.
Bhari Maang.
I was just like, this is what I'm expected to be when I grow up. You know?
But of
So-
course, you
but,
also
no.
had, at that time, there was also the parallel cinema in which
Yes.
women were very strong.
Yeah.
What Smita Patel, Shabana and all
Shabana.
did. those. So
Aparna.
they would have Aparna Sen. So there was parallel cinema at that time and also worldwide cinema. But for the majority in like, this is now mainstream. Our show is the mainstream. She's absolutely right. In the mainstream, that's
That was
totally
it.
changed. It's not just our show. You know, across the board, there's a wonderful material today in India, across the board, where women are definitely not just eye candy
They're
or
telling their
just
own narrative.
yeah,
Yeah.
superficial.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, do you think the women-centric approach of films to the OTT, there is a series which male person is the lead, and the series which is soulfully women-centric, does it, you see the difference between the approach of the medium, the platform?
Only on budget front. You have itna budget for women and itna budget for men. Even if those men are really old. And for younger women, you have even less. That's it.
Only one who can answer this question.
Right.
Truthfully.
Just that.
Okay. Do we see Ziddi Girls 2 coming after this season, second
It
season?
depends on whether you watch Ziddi Girls
I
one.
know.
Yeah,
I am.
Go watch
I
it.
am going to watch it.
Go watch
Everybody
it. Make
watch.
sure that they
Everybody.
have to make another one.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Very nice talking to you.